said that children have to take care of their aged parents or other senior members of their family. And then they realized that when they said children, now there was some confusion whether it is only biological children or otherwise. So they realized that maybe now biological children are under the ambit of law, but children-in-law, like daughter-in-law or son-in-law, they are not covered in law, and they are not covered in the act, and they are not taking care of their parents-in-law, and law is unable to do anything. So you expand the reach of the law from children to children-in-laws. Okay. So this also, when I read it, I was sort of shocked. I mean, all of us, we can actually visualize that. Do we have to make laws so that grown up people, like, in their 40s, in their 50s, so that they take care of their parents and parents-in-law only if they are legally bound to do it? Were they not legally bound? Apparently there are many families, many people who are not doing it. And then as soon as we start exploring, around us, we observe families around us, our friends, our relatives, sometimes sadly our own families also, we realize that we have these conflicts within families. They are not so hidden, like, I mean, they are very clearly visible that we have strained relationships, and we have, few people in the family who are not able to talk to each other, like, who do not gel well. And the kind of bonding, the kind of relationships we actually want to see in our families, they are not there, and we feel sad about that. So why I highlighted this news item was probably this is another area where some kind of a badlav is required. I mean, all our families are educated, but this education has not helped us in any way to enable us to live happily with our family members. Okay, so this also is somewhere a badlav, a transformation is required. We do not know what to do about it, because if we knew, we would have done that. It is not happening is clear indication of the fact that we do not know how to handle that. So we looked at the general education thing. We looked at the family relationships. Now let us look at some institutions also. So this is a another news item of this year, which says that, so on the left hand side, I have highlighted the critical part of the news item. Supreme Court said arbitrary arrests continue to be pervasive. Supreme Court lamented that arbitrary arrests are still common, with ordinary citizens bearing the brunt. Now we have made institutions, we have judiciary, we have legislature, we have executive, and police is an important pillar of the executive part. And if the judiciary, and not judiciary at lower levels, the Supreme Court is saying that police is not uh, probably working judicially, and they are doing arbitrary arrests, and these are due to arbitrary arrests, common citizens are bearing its brunt. Somewhere it is indicating that at institutional levels also we need some kind of a badlav. The way things are, we are not very happy about that. I mean, were it not Supreme Court, probably, like, I mean, because Supreme Court is saying it, we can take it as a undisputed truth also. That's why, I sort of took the item where Supreme Court has a say, or the law has something to say on this. So so we need a transformation at family and relationships level. We need transformation at institutional levels, at social levels. And then we have other problems like resource depletion and global warming and ozone layer depletion and water uh, impeding water shortage. And probably people are saying that if third world war will be there, it will be due to the shortage of water. So we have so many things where the way things are going on one angle, we realize that maybe in the last 50 years, last 100 years, we have made a lot of advancements in the level of comforts, in the level of physical development, infrastructure development. But then there's another domain of our life, another area of our life where where there where we are lacking at individual level, at institutional level, and at at global levels also. We do not know what to do about those things. So this is, I thought that it will set the ground ready, or it will set the ground to build us on this lecture, that the talk which we are conducting today, that we need transformation. So, and then, okay, I forgot about this. Is another news item. At social level, tomato prices down to as low as 1 kg, 1 rupee per kg. We always keep on hearing about these things. Sometimes it is potatoes, sometimes tomatoes, sometimes onions. Okay, and we always feel sad about the farmers who spent so many months working hard on growing these crops, and then eventually they do not get anything out of it. So this is, like, I mean, we as a society at institutional level, we are hearing about these things for so many decades, but not able to handle these kind of things. So let's move on now. Now let's look at it from an academic point of view. We are all academicians, so education, is the purpose of education development of skills, which we have shown in the green circle here, and then if we ask this question, we agree, yes, yes, it is so. But is it the only purpose of education development of skills, so that people can get employed, and then they can make money, and they become financially independent? Is that the purpose of education? Is that the only purpose of education? Or I make a red circle now which says, or development of human being is also purpose of education. It's not only that we make a good engineer, but is he a good human being also? Does he work ethically? Is it also the purpose of education, or we just want to make a skilled engineer? Do we just want to make a skilled doctor, or do we want to make an ethical doctor also, who does not exploit his or her patients? Do we want to make only a good lawyer, or we want to make an ethical lawyer who does not exploit his or her clients? So when we look at it, we realize that actually, yes, the purpose of education was to impart skills, as well as to make an ethical human being, the human being in whichever profession he or she is, uh, able to discharge his or her responsibilities in an ethical manner. That ethical part has gone missing. The development of a human being part, that got lost somewhere along the way. And if we see, right in our families and in our own professional careers, when I look back at my professional career, I can very easily see that most of the times we are talking about what is the package one is getting, what is the status or the title one has got, and how they are making money is most of the time out of discussion. We think that it is a personal matter, whether the person is living ethically or not, but then everybody sort of compromising on that, and then we reach a situation when the whole society and the whole earth suffers. And so basically we are trying to identify the part, the domain, the part where the transformation has to be done, and then we'll see what we can do about it. So is education only skill development or more than that? Okay, is the ethical part has to be just left it to the individual, or was there something that could be done in 20 years of education, which all of us went through and all of our children are also going through, or most of our children are going through almost 20 years of education? In that 20 years, while we were giving them skills, can we give them the knowledge of, or the ethics of how to live right? Or is it outside the scope of the domain of education, scope of education? This is a question I am throwing open to the academicians here. I think that this is part of the education, and if we ignore it, or if we are not able to handle it, all of us are collectively failing in our duty. So what is transformative learning? Let's come to the point. The transformative learning we are saying here is, transformative learning inspires individuals to elevate themselves from animal consciousness, that is personal gain over collective good, to a stage of human consciousness, that is living with understanding, compassion, kindness. Transformative learning is the purpose of education, wherein learning translates into a positive change within, in oneself and without, in society, outside, in any area where I am living, in my family, in the society, in the country. This paragraph, these two paragraphs, they are excerpts from a course in critical thinking and transformative learning, which is being run in a few institutes in Delhi. So I have taken it from its, taken the quotations from its that excerpts of the syllabus outline. So this animal consciousness, when we read the word, suddenly sometimes we may be amused or feel sad also, that what are we talking about, like for educated people and animal consciousness. But let's define what we are saying as animal consciousness. So what is transformation? Transformation is the ability to move from animal consciousness to human consciousness. So let's try to define, so that we can look at it in the right perspective. What do we mean by animal consciousness and what do we mean by human consciousness? So very simply putting, doing right is equal to human consciousness and doing wrong is equal to animal consciousness. If I live right, I'm living with human consciousness, and if I'm living wrong, then I'm living with animal consciousness. It's easier said than done, because for this we have to have a clarity of what is right and what is wrong. And many times in our day-to-day living, this is where the buck stops. This is where we hit a roadblock, because most of the time we hear these words, think, it's the thinking which makes something right or wrong. There is nothing like right or wrong. It's only the thinking which makes it so. And right and wrong depends and varies from person to person. So if right and wrong varies from person to person, then we will never have a definition of right or wrong. So I will do whatever I think is wrong is right. You may think it is wrong. So I think that it's an important thing in transformation, that that clarity of right and wrong, if it is not in is it does not exist in a person, then like then the person is before the transformation state. I mean, if the clarity of right and wrong is not there, so this clarity of right and wrong is very, very essential. This is what we are highlighting here. And then, you know then wrong comes in two categories. This is what we are proposing here. One is in the category of crime, which is aparad, and second is in the category of mistake, which is galti. So if something is very clearly acceptable as something wrong, the law accepts it, the society accepts it, and nobody can say that I did not know that it is right and wrong, but everybody else knows it, then it is clearly a crime. But what is a mistake? A mistake is when we do something wrong without knowing that we are doing wrong. Because our clarity is not there, what is right, what is wrong. We sometimes indulge, others sometimes indulge in wrong things without realizing that it is wrong. And this is the domain in which in the next 1 hour we'll spend. Where are we making the mistake? One possible immediate scenario we can see is the global warming, and all that we are doing to the earth. Uh, is it happening by mistake or is it happening by a crime? So if it was a crime, it would be legally also crime, socially also crime. But we are all collectively doing it with the reach of education having grown manifold in the last 50 years or 100 years. And after that increase in education, after so many people getting educated, after democratic setups all over the country, all over the world, this mistake of global warming is happening, because we do not know that distinction between right and wrong. And apparently, I can very clearly see that to any observer, the way we are messing up with the earth, it's very clear that it's going in the wrong direction. But then collectively, neither we know it individually, nor institutionally, nor politically, nor economically. We simply do not know how to handle that. Okay, so crime and mistake, these are two things. Crime, we are able to handle more or less at institutional level. We have defined and we make our best effort. But mistakes are the part which we do not know how to handle, and because of the mistakes, things go wrong. So mistakes also fall under animal consciousness. This is what we are saying. Human consciousness means we know what is right and then live according to right. If we do not know it, then either we end up committing a crime or we end up committing a mistake. This is what we are trying to say. Need for transformation has been felt since ages. This also is true. I remember from my history classes in school days that there was this great king Samrat Ashok. He fought a war somewhere, and then at end of the war, although he won the war, there were so many dead bodies. Maybe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, and uh, he did not like it at end of the war, and he thought that these things need to change. We should not be having wars. That was 2000 years ago. After 2000 years ago, we are still having wars. So thousands of years ago also we did not want wars. Today also we do not want wars. But thousands of years ago also we had wars. Today also we have wars. So much so intensity of wars is increasing. Earlier, we could kill few people at a time. Now we drop a bomb and hundreds of thousands of people can get killed with one bomb. We have seen it during Second World War. So if we do not know how to go right, then mistakes will keep on happening. War is also, I would say, I mean, some people may want to put it in category of crime, but let's say to be liberal, we'll put it in the category of at least a mistake. We cannot run away from that wars are not even mistakes. So mistakes are being made. So there is that's another area where we need transformation. So we have needed transformation. The need for transformation has been felt since thousands of years ago. We have not reached there. That is what we are trying to highlight here. So why have we not reached there? We do not know. So we'll put up some questions here. Which is the entity to be transformed? Is it the body of the human being which is to be transformed, or the brain of the human being which is to be transformed, or some other part of the human being which is to be transformed, or the thinking of the human being which is to be transformed? What is to be transformed? And then how to do it? Do we do it by preaching? We have been trying preaching for thousands of years. We have our great epics available with us, and not only our great epics, all over the globe, all religions, all communities, they have their own epics, and the preachings are being done. Moral value stories are being told. In education, we are always saying that do right, but have such or other historical efforts in this direction they have been successful? But the answer is clear no. We wanted transformation, we wanted things to be good, but all historical efforts, in spite of our best efforts and best efforts of our ancestors, since thousands of years ago, it has not happened. Okay, so we have to know transformation, but when we have these kind of workshops, there are two words which we use very often. Another word, one is transformation, one is motivation. What is the difference between transformation and motivation? We have a lot of motivational speakers. Okay, so what is that? What is motivation? What is transformation? This clarity also, I think we should be having a little bit of it in one slide. What we are saying is motivation is external. It needs to be imparted again and again. It does not have an end point. Okay, what is the end point? The end point is transformation. So after transformation, one remains self-motivated. Otherwise, for motivation, you need an external resource person. I mean, he motivates us. When we sit in a motivational class, we hear him out. We think, oh yes, this is good. We go back to our daily routine, and then our daily routine sucks us. And after a few days, a few weeks, again we need motivation, and then we need the dose of motivation again and again. What we are saying here is actually the last bullet point here. Motivation is successful if it leads to transformation. So transformation is the point where we wanted to reach, but that we are not able to do. So we keep on repeating motivation and motivation. Motivation is like charging a cell phone. It remains charged and then it discharges and you charge it again. But what we need is transformation. It transformed human being who does right, and then if we can understand what a transformed human beings are, you know, who do not make crimes, who do not commit crimes, who do not commit mistakes, they know right and wrong, and they can logically and clearly put it across what is right and wrong. Okay, this would be real sense. In real sense, this would be transformation. So we spoke for a few minutes on transformation. Let's talk a little bit about decision making also. So in decision making, what we are saying is we all want to fulfill our needs and we all want to achieve our goals. Okay, so two key words are here: needs and goals. We want to fulfill our needs and we want to achieve our goals. For this, we make decisions. And in the process of fulfillment of our needs and in the process of achieving our goals, in this process, we take. So here we'll spend some time, a few minutes, on understanding ourselves, our needs. So our needs and our goals. So first our need and then our goals. So what we are proposing here, and this all the participants, I suggest that all of you please please explore it in your own right. You do not have to look at others or talk to others to figure out whether this proposal is right or wrong. The best part of this proposal is that this is self-verifiable. We can verify within ourselves, and then once we gain confidence that yes, this is true, then we believe, then we come to the conclusion this is right, and then we can talk about it. So we have two kinds of needs, two types of needs. One is physical needs, which is, as an example, we say food, housing, clothes, car, phone, laptop, physical needs. And then we have non-physical needs. We need respect, we need affection and love, we need trust, we need wisdom, we need happiness. So these, the second line, they are non-physical needs, and the first one is physical needs. I'll again encourage all the participants to verify in yourselves. All of us have these two kinds of physical needs and non-physical needs. So the proposal we are putting here is human being is equal to body plus self, manav barabar sharir plus jivan. So, so the body is the physical part and self is the non-physical part. So what we are saying is physical needs, food, housing, clothes, they are for body which itself is physical. So physical needs for the physical part of the human being, and non-physical needs which are respect, affection, love, trust, wisdom, happiness. Non-physical needs for self, which itself is non-physical. Okay, so 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 we are body and self. The physical needs are for the physical part of the human being. Non-physical needs are the for the self, which is non-physical part of the human. In our tradition, there are two beautiful words which we can place here. Physical needs are suvidha, the material comfort, and the non-physical needs, we put one word here, which is sukh. Okay. And if we want to translate it into English, we can say the physical needs lead to prosperity or to feeling of a prosperity, and the fulfillment of non-physical needs, it leads to a feeling of happiness. So have been talking about happiness and prosperity on all our festivals, whether it is Christmas or New Year or Diwali or Holi. We wish each other happiness and prosperity, and I think it's very important for all of us to place these two words very clearly. What do we mean by happiness? What do we mean by prosperity? Prosperity is having abundance of physical needs or having fulfillment of physical needs, having a sense that I have more than what I need. This will come in the domain of prosperity, and happiness is fulfillment of non-physical. I can live in affectionate relationships. I have fulfilling relationships. I feel happy. So this feelings part that will come in the non-physical needs. So happiness is the feeling part, and the prosperity is the physical part of our life. So we talked about two things here. Uh, we all have our needs, and we all want to achieve our goals. So we talked about our needs. Now let's talk about our goals. Do we have to set our goals, or do we have to recognize our goals? This I find very interesting. All this which I am sharing with you, you can see on the right hand side corner, there is a, this title of the all in all the slides based on coexistential philosophy. Okay, this is Sah Astitwad. In other words, it is called Madhyasth Darshan also. When I was exploring through, when I was growing up, I found something missing in my life, and I guess that it happens to most of us around us. That although we have good jobs, we have decent titles, and we have all the amenities or all the amenities that we can think of. If today the kind of physical facilities we think we have, I mean, if I look at in back to my childhood days, I could never imagine in our childhood days that we'll be some days having internet and laptops and mobile phones, and the world travel, the global travel will be so easy and things like that. But during in 30, 40 years, it has become so easily available. But while it was becoming available, while I was growing up the corporate ladder in the last couple of decades, one thing which kept on bugging me was that although on the physical part, on the status part, on the money part, things are going right, there is still something which is missing in life. The sense of fulfillment, the sense of happiness which all of us strive to achieve by working hard. Somehow I figured out in myself that is missing, and that set me on an exploration trail on, there has to be something which I am not able to put my finger on. And during that exploration, I reached this coexistential philosophy, and a lot of things became clear. And based on the concept of this philosophy only, I'm sharing all these things which are being discussed in this presentation. And this is running as a course in many institutions, in many universities, in many IITs, in many engineering colleges all over the country. And in Delhi government, the happiness curriculum, which started a couple of years ago, all these are based on the Madhyasth Darshan philosophy, the coexistential philosophy. So one striking thing which which I found as a proposal from this philosophy, and I could immediately accept it, is, do we have to set our goals, or do we have to recognize our goals? Because we always talk about goal setting. I mean, there are always workshops and seminars that set your goal right. I always believe when I was working that yes, we have to set our goals right. But then Madhyas Darshan put things in a very interesting perspective, which we are going to discuss now, is what Madhyas Darshan is proposing. All of you, please verify in your own right. It's not a sermon. It is not a preaching. It has to be verified it in your own right. What Madhyas Darshan or coexistential philosophy is proposing is all the effort of human being is for happiness and happiness only. If we have to put it in Hindi, मानव का समस्त प्रयास सुख और केवल सुख के लिए. So suddenly with one sweeping statement, what we are saying is, do we have to set our goal or do we have to recognize our goal? So when we look at this statement, suddenly I realize, I mean, you verify in yourself that our goal is happiness. This is our goal of all human beings by existential design. We all want to be happy. So once this is put in front of us like this, then we ask ourselves the question, do we have to set our goal or do we have to just recognize our goal? Okay. So, so, so the goal of every human being is happiness, and all the efforts which human beings make are for happiness and happiness only. So because we are talking about decisions, so now we link happiness with the decisions also. Decisions are taken or made based on the goal. Okay, whatever we accept as our goal, then our decision making is aligned towards that goal. So if there's a mistake in recognizing the goal, we end up taking wrong decisions. If I if if I make a mistake in recognizing the goal, if I set a wrong goal which probably was not correct in the first place, and then I put all my time and energies and efforts to achieve that, I will not reach anywhere. I will be disgruntled in the end of the whole process, and probably people around me also may be disgruntled because the goal itself was not right. So what we are saying here is, the goal of all human beings is happiness. This is something which needs to be verified by, by all the participants. And if we believe in the end, after self-expression, yes, we wanted to be happy, then what are the other things? Then we say, my goal is to be a cricketer, my goal is to go for a world vacation, my goal is to have so much money, my goal is to achieve, to reach this title or position. What are they? What are they? So what, introducing two words here. One is goal, one is medium. Okay. Goal is lakshya and the medium is the madhyam, rasta. So the common mistake is we get confused between medium and goal. I wanted to reach my goal. For example, I wanted to go somewhere. Now for going somewhere, I need a car. Okay, so car becomes my medium to take me from place A to place B. So car is a medium reaching place B. Place B is the goal. But somehow in in the way the whole world is living and the way we are brought up and the way the society is functioning, we do not know, somewhere along the way we get lost and car becomes the goal. We wanted to be happy. We wanted to fulfill our needs. For that, we needed money. Money was a means to a goal. Money was a medium to a goal. Before we realize, money becomes the goal. Okay, so this is what, as a proposal, we are putting here. Again, all of the participants and all the viewers who see this recording later on, I will encourage. This is what the philosophy encourages all the people who want to understand this, who want to lead a happy life. That, like, you can do it on a self verification basis. Not that we are telling that it is like this. There is some mystery and all. There is nothing mysterious in this. It is purely self verifiable. So the confusion is between what is a medium and what is a goal. So we are getting confused between medium and goal. We'll take some example. So the goal is happiness. Happiness is an inner state. I mean, I eat good food, I feel happy. Okay. So I have a house where I'm comfortable, I feel happy. Right. So these are, I have a car, I have career, money, vacations, and you name it. There are many other things we can include in the list. Are these the goals, or are these medium to our goal of becoming happy? If the vision towards goal, okay, if the goal is lost from the vision, then we keep on focusing on the medium only, and we just forget what was the goal. This is the vacuum, this is the emptiness, this is the khalipan which most of us feel. And I personally realized that I was feeling in my professional career, that why, in spite of having a good title, why, in spite of making decent money, like there is something is amiss. So that something is amiss is that feeling of happiness is not coming. So we are focusing too much on the medium itself, that we lose track of the goal. Okay, so the goal has to be kept in mind, and then the medium and goal, then there is an alignment. This I thought that in a couple of slides we'll talk about it. So happiness, I'll quickly run through these slides, although they are not part of the main content here, but then the whole topic remains incomplete if we do not go in these details. Happiness has three categories. One is sensory players. This is, all of us are very familiar with that, and unfortunately or incidentally, this is where most of our life is focused. Okay, sensory players, from five senses we get it. Then the second level of happiness is harmony in feelings. So feelings of affection, care, gratitude, trust, affection, respect, which we get in relationships with friends and family. And then third is goal and clarity based. This is the deepest level of happiness. So we are putting it here. Sensory player is momentary happiness, and then the harmony in feelings is deeper happiness. This is longer lasting, and then achieving clarity or goal. So the clarity of goal or clarity of right and wrong, and then the ability to live according to right. One thing which I realized subsequently, with that clarity did not come to me while I was working in professional world. Many times, many times many times when I was working, I had to sort of, what I should say, compromise on my value system in the interest of the organization. That was what I was told, that in the interest of the organization, you have to do it. Something which I felt internally was inhuman, was unethical, but then the organization tells us that it has to be done. So what we're trying to say here is that we have to explore in ourselves. There's a sense of satisfaction that we get by living right, and that sense of satisfaction get when it gets compromised, then we feel that sense of emptiness, hollowness, khalipan, in internal contradictions. Why I am doing this, which I think I should not be doing it, but then I'm being compelled to do it, and then we know actually what to do. I mean, I went through a lot of this during my working life. All of you, please verify yourself. I am sure that most of you also face these situations in a day-to-day life. And then this Nirantar Sukh or sustainable happiness is the ability to live by the ethical or the value system which I recognize as the right way of living, and then having the confidence that I can live according to that. Right now, every time that we make compromise in our living, although we make that compromise within us, that within us, we feel bad, we feel unhappy. Okay, so we sometimes, that is where, uh, remember that slide, crime and mistake. Okay, so we have these, sometimes here, sometimes there. We know we are not right, but we are not able to live according to right. Yeah, so eventually that transformation has to come within me. Transformation has to come in many human beings, and with many human beings being transformed, the systems will be transformed. This is how it will grow, and this is all content of education. The way I am discussing it with you in this 1.5 hour, it can be conducted and in a classroom also. There are courses over 6 months and more than that also, like happiness curriculum here, it runs over in Delhi, it runs over many years. So these courses, there is a content of education which can be explained and talked about in the classroom. But it can be done only if the educators and the parents are aware about that and they are able to live according to it. It will not go to students if we just talk about it, but we are not able to live according to it. So this is very important. We talk to the students when we are able to live according to this narrative. Otherwise, otherwise the other program has been going on for thousands of years. Sada Sach Bolo, and the people who are telling Sada Sach Bolo themselves are also not able to live according to Sada Sach Bolo. Then it will not go to the next generation. What will go to the next generation? The conduct of the earlier generation, not the words of the. Okay, so now we come to the final parts of the presentation. Now we will precisely see where the transformation is to be done, how it happens. We'll spend a few minutes, and I want to ask the coordinators here also that are we getting a lot of questions? How much time in the end should we leave for the questions? If you can update me, I'll plan my flow accordingly. I was thinking that. By 3:45 I will end and we'll have 15 minutes for the question answer session. But we are
Sure.
getting, is that
Sir,
okay?
we are already getting a lot of questions in the chat box, so I can just read all of them for you in the end.
No, no, not in the end. But then,
Yes, in the end.
I leave it to your judgment.
Okay.
Is 15 minutes enough, or should we have more time for question answer sessions? Then I
I
will
think
either.
so 15-20 minutes should be more than enough, more than sufficient.
Okay, and we have to
Yes.
end sharp at 3, or we have 5-10 minutes leeway.
So we have the leverage. Yours is the last session of
Okay,
this full FDP. After that, we'll be having the validatory program.
okay,
So you
okay.
can just continue.
Okay. Let's see, and I'll wait for this evaluation that you said it is the last section. Probably you saved the best for the last.
Yes, yes,
So,
sure. Sir.
okay, okay. So we come to the transformation now. Now this is what the human being is. This is the block diagram of the human being. Most of you are from academics and we understand block diagrams. So in the left hand side, we have two boxes which say the bottom box says rectangle says body and the top box says self. So body is the physical entity and the self is the non-physical part which we were talking about. Okay. Now, adjacent to body on the right hand side, we are saying actions and observations. So with body, what are we doing? We are doing actions with our hands and with generally our body, and we are doing observations from our sensory organs. So we have input and output from the body, and then what are the processes which are happening in the cell? So in the cell, the first process which is happening above the actions, that is the thought. Okay, we all are aware that these thoughts, all of us have thoughts. We go through a thinking process. It's a continuous process. And then above the thoughts, there is a block which says right understanding or samaj. And then on top of that, there's a small circle which says main or I. Okay. So I think that most of us, for me, this was a revelation the way I. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so what we are saying here is that the bottom two boxes, the actions part, observations part, and the thoughts part, this is happening in every human being, whether the person is living right or the person is living wrong, whether the person is a wise person or whether the person is a samajdar person or the person is a nasamaj person. A nasamaj person also has thoughts. Okay. All those people with whom we have complaints, do they have thoughts or not? As soon as we think about it, yes, they also have thoughts. What are they lacking? We think they are lacking samaj part, the wisdom part. Maybe they think that about us also, but that's a separate game, separate part. So So this right understanding, and then in the end, it is I or man which feels happy or unhappy. So what we are saying here is, in the absence of right understanding, a human being lives on the basis of assumptions. So either there is right understanding, or if right understanding is not there, then assumptions are there. And then the person lives according to the assumptions. How to look at it from a real life kind of an example. So we go back to the previous slide. Just to take an example, we have two kinds of needs: physical needs and non-physical needs. Okay, physical needs lead to prosperity. Fulfillment of physical needs to prosperity, and fulfillment of non-physical needs leads to happiness. No, this is the right understanding. This is the existential design. Now, it is quite possible, and it quite often happens, that a person may think that I will become happy if I have a lot of physics, if I have a lot of material, if I have a lot of money. Now, money will bring to us, will help us in fulfilling our physical needs. But happiness itself is a non-physical need. Okay. So the clarity which is required is, physical needs are fulfilled by money, non-physical needs are fulfilled by feelings, because they themselves are feeling. Now this is the right understanding. Now we come back to this, our current slide. Now, if this right understanding is not there, it is quite possible, and it quite often happens, that a person may try to become happy by having a lot of money. Now, this is an assumption. This is not a right understanding. Because in right understanding, having a lot of money does not make you happy. Okay? There is no law which says that the more money you will have, the more happy you will. We just see around us, people who have more money than us, are they clearly happier than us? I mean, it's so amazing. It's so interesting. The moment we start doing it, we really see that yes, there are a lot of people who have better status than us, better cars than us, bigger houses than us, more money than us, but apparently not happier than us. It's very easily visible. We can very clearly see it around the people whom we know since childhood, or for the last 10, 20 years, people in our families, people in our offices. So, in the absence of right understanding, a human being lives on the basis of assumption. So, what is the transformation we have to do? The transformation is, from assumptions, we have to go to the right understanding. Okay, assumptions are automatically removed as and when, one by one, the right understanding comes. If right understanding is not there, we are driven by assumption. Assumptions could be right or wrong, but because we are not clear whether they are assumptions or not, we are not. So that is where we lack confidence. Okay, because we are driven by assumptions. Assumptions sometimes keep on changing also. I assume something today, after 5 years I may assume something else quite different than what I am assuming today. The belief system keeps on changing. Right understanding is fixed in itself. I mean, that is a permanent kind of thing that does not change with time. We'll see it in the coming slides. We have some content on that also. So transformation happens here at the level of right understanding. Decision making happens at the level of thoughts. So a person with the right understanding will be able to take right decisions. If the clarity of right and wrong, if the clarity of goal is there, then the decision making process will be aligned to that understanding. Otherwise, we have our assumed goals that, like, that is my goal. We realize, oh, boss, nothing happened. Okay, and then we realize too low. So really, this much money was not enough. This title was not enough. I needed more. Then I spent 10 years more on that. we reach there, then our illusion that feeling of empty, that is there for which you need to be that around us. So there are decision making and transformation. And peace and satisfaction, they happen at the level of I. So these three things, when they are aligned, then automatically my goal is achieved. I become happy. For that, that wisdom part, that right understanding part, that is very clear. That is the transformation we need to do. The more we explore it in a self-worth, this is how the self of everyone works. Right? I think that we have in unpredictable manners, people are millions. We don't understand the self. We have a lot of vocabulary related with self, which we'll see in the coming slides. We have not understood the self part. So our thoughts are focused towards body and towards external world. Okay? And the transformation is our thoughts. We have to orient them in towards it also. Right now they are outwards. That inwards thinking, that inwards direction, that needs to be triggered, and we have to work on that. The same thing with this slide in another manner. It is the critical part of the whole presentation. I think that in this, I can put it across to you. Probably it will be helpful. Here, what we are saying is again, the central part is thoughts. Right? Thoughts aligned towards body or external world or bahari dunya. Okay. So this thoughts is the connecting point between me and the body and the external world. If me unaware about me, then not body and for the external world, and then we are indulging in sensory pleasures. We want to take all the happiness, derive all the happiness from the sensory pleasures as well as from the external world. So once we are knowing our this existence of I and me, and thoughts are can be connected to that. This is the journey of self-exploration, self-discovery, self-awareness, self-motivation, all those words related with self, which we always talk about in workshops and seminars, is that my thoughts, if I self-exploration. Right now the question in the box at the bottom is where our time and energy at this point of time. Apparently, we are investing it in our external world, in our professional world, and and the body part. That is what we are investing. That journey of self-exploration, self-discovery, self-awareness, self-actualization, that is missing. We have heard these words, but we have no clarity about them. So
So you are not audible. Hello?
Please,
Sir, your
I'm
voice
audible
is
or
breaking. Sir, your voice is breaking and it is showing a signal that due to low bandwidth or maybe at your end, your video and audio both are just they are flickering, means they are not coming properly.
okay, 1 second. Let me see. The network looks good. Is it better now?
Yes, sir. Yes, now it is better, but it just
Okay.
broke in
How much
between.
did you miss for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or how much?
2 minutes, maybe the last 2 minutes we missed.
Okay. So, so anyway, I'll just so what I was saying is that these two they are conveying the same message. Both of them. Okay. I don't know. This is a reliable network. I don't know what. Yeah, it is this. Let us see. Let us. Let me. Yeah, let me know. Okay. Let me change the network. 1 second. Give me a second. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, I have changed my network. I hope it helps. So I come back to the presentation. Hmm? So these are two different slides which are saying the same thing. Okay, so we'll just recap this slide. From thoughts, we command our body, and then we take action. This is a normal mode of working. But the thoughts itself, I can use my thoughts to develop my right understanding, and then the state and reach the state of happiness, peace, and satisfaction, which we are showing on the top. Okay, so this is what we discussed in this slide. So presently, at the right hand side in the box, we are saying presently our thoughts are focused outwards towards body and external. Now, next slide, again, we are saying the same thing. The thoughts, we are focusing on the external world, but if we are aware about myself and what I have to do, develop my understanding, develop my samaj, then I raise my level of consciousness. And then what we discussed in the first slide, animal consciousness versus human consciousness. Okay, so then this journey from thoughts to me, that clears in within me the human consciousness part, and then I realize that without living with human consciousness, I do not derive this feeling of happiness and peace and satisfaction. So that is the journey for the towards the human consciousness, and that is where we have to go. Without that journey, without that clarity, without that understanding, we will all continue to make mistakes because we are focused outwardly, and then we need a lot of material and a lot of money and a lot of resources, and then that leads to global warming and things like that. It will for our without our understanding of this sequence basically. So some discussion points here. I have it. We'll try to wrap up in 10 minutes, and then we'll have question answers. We say change is the only constant. This is we I hear a lot, and I heard when I was working. Change is the only constant. Continuously learn and unlearn. What we are saying here is, in the material world, in the world outside, yes, changes are happening, but the consciousness part, okay, human being is combination of body and self. This is unchanging. That design was thousands of years ago also same. Today also it is same. After thousands of years also it will be same. It is universal. So that design is unchanging. Okay, so like what the point is, whatever is changing reality, that we have to accept as change, but we should not forget, it is wrong to presume that the world is always changing, because there's a big part of the world, the feelings part, the relationships part. We do not want to have wars. Okay, this reality was like this 2000 years ago also. This reality is like this today also. We do not want war. No human being wants war. Is it changing? Do we have to learn and unlearn it? No. Okay. So we have to have that clarity and that clear distinction of what part of the world is changing, that we learn and unlearn. But there is a big part which is not changing, that we learn and remain learned, that we do not have to unlearn. There is no need to unlearn it. This also has to be included in education. This part is completely missing. I thought I would bring it to a discussion point. How much time and energy we are spending on the ever-changing reality. I look at it around me, laws, income tax laws, GST rules, they are changing, and there's so much of energy and time to to sort of keep up to date on that. Legal provisions, laws, they are changing. Hardwares are changing, mobiles are changing, softwares are changing. We have to keep up to date with them. So in that context, we always say that we have to unlearn the thing which is no longer relevant and learn the thing which is relevant today. We spent a lot of energy on what is relevant today. Next year, that becomes irrelevant. So we unlearn that and we learn what is relevant next year. This is one part of it. We have to do it. There is no problem in that. But is that the only part of life? Or there was something else also which was not changing year by year, which remained same in our fathers and grandfathers generation also, and will remain same in our children and grandchildren's generation also. Can we live without identifying that, without focusing that, and without learning that? So what is happening is we are spending too much time on the ever-changing reality and no time on the realities which are constant and fixed and which are very important for living. That part is getting ignored. This I wanted to bring to the discussion. How much time on the ever-present or non-changing realities? Want to live in fulfilling relationships, to live in harmonious society, to live on a sustainable planet. These are ever-present realities. How much of going towards that? We talk about look at, so it gives us an idea that there's a small picture and there's a big picture. Some people can look at the small picture, some people can look at the picture which is bigger than that. What we are proposing here is there is a complete picture also. Okay, small and big are with ref. So why not look at the complete picture? The complete picture is life. What did I want to do in life? What did I want to do in life? We all want to be happy. What is happiness? So human being is body and self. Okay, and then we all want to have a harmonious society, fulfilling relationships, a sustainable planet. This is the complete picture. Now, then we look at whether our professions, our money-making activities, our day-to-day living, is it aligned with that? And suddenly we realize that we forgot the complete picture and we are too much focused on our day-to-day living, and in the process the complete picture is getting. So without looking at the complete picture, the picture will always remain small or big, and that is relative to each other. We have to look at the complete picture. Yeah, I thought I'll bring it to the. I'll quickly run through the next 2-3 slides in the next less than 5 minutes. I assure you, and then we'll have the question answer session. These are some prevailing assumptions and notions. I leave all of you to explore it within yourselves. There's a very prevailing notion in our contemporary society. More money means more happiness. We just need to verify. We today have more money than what we had 20 years or 30 years ago. Have we become more happy? Okay. Comforts are happiness. This is another notion. Suvidha is equal to sukh. This I am repeatedly highlighting. This is the crux of the whole content. Not Sukh. Suvidha is different, Sukh is different. Different. Human being wants Sukh. Human being wants happiness. So if we are not clear of the distinction between Sukh and Sukh, it is very, very easy to get confused and assume that Suvidha is Sukh. And then because we wanted Sukh and we think that Suvidha is Sukh, we are chasing Suvidha, assuming that Suvidha will give us Sukh. Suvidha is different, Sukh is different. It's verified. Respect from material, you know, good clothes, big house, good car. Okay, in Hindi it spells out beautifully. Saman se Samman. A very good question to ask yourself is: do you give more respect to people who have bigger cars or bigger houses or more money? Ask yourself. And as soon as we honestly explore in ourselves, we realize that there are a lot of people who have bigger cars than us, but we do not respect them. We do not have a feeling of respect towards them. We may show respect outwardly. So showing respect outwardly versus having a feeling of respect, these are two different things. Okay. So happiness is the feelings which I have, not what I show. Okay, so what I show and the feelings which I show and the feelings which I have internally, these are two different things. These also have to be explored in ourselves. So, do you have real feeling of respect for all the people who have more money and bigger houses and bigger titles, and then then probably the clarity will come. More or higher education means more wisdom. So, or we assume so. Once we start exploring, I very honestly that there were a lot of people in the organizations in which I worked who were more qualified than me and who had bigger titles than me. I did not think they were wise. Some are wise, some are not wise. But then from that, the people who were junior to me, there also some were wise, some were not wise. So, so once we start verification and exploration, we realize that wisdom has not much to do with the education part. That transformation part, that the human value is a separate thing, and the education is a separate. Okay. Confusion between looking happy and being happy. So, are we focused more on being happy? Focused more on looking happy. So the goal is being happy. Are are we focused on being happy or are we focused on being happy? Summary, there's a universal law makes effort to achieve whatever one has accepted as goal. Okay, this looks नेचुरल काइंड ऑफ लॉ जो जिसको लक्ष्य मानता है वो उसके लिए प्रयासरत है. So we are making the mistake. We are making the mistake. We do not know the difference between happiness and comforts. That clarity is not there. सुख और सुविधा में अंतर की स्पष्टता नहीं है. We have assumed that more comforts or facilities will make us happy. Therefore, we have unconsciously or subconsciously accepted comforts or facilities in the Suvidha as our goal. Okay, so we have accepted Suvidha as our goal because of the lack of clarity, and then we are making efforts to maximize our Suvidha part, the facilities. So clarity of human being is body plus self. This is fundamental for transformation to happen. It is missing in education today. Right decisions flow from human consciousness. For this, we have to work at the level of consciousness. We clarity of self. Without this clarity, things will not go right. Transformation happens at the level of self, at the level of consciousness, not in the material body. So we have to have our clarity of self very clear. We have that clarity, only then we can give it to our children, the children at home, the children in our classrooms. Everybody needs that clarity. And as educators and as parents, it's the responsibility to teach or to draw attention of the students or children to the direction that what is their right design, right understanding need of happiness is for the conscious self, need for facilities is for the body. Both are required to be fulfilled. I mean, this is important. Many times when we run this presentation, unconsciously a message goes that facilities are not important. So I will highlight it. Nowhere I have said, and even if that message went, I want to retrace it. Facilities are also important. Okay, both the needs are required to be fulfilled. The mistake we are making today is we are making 100% effort or close to 100% efforts or energies towards the facilities. The happiness part, the clarity we do not have, and that is we do not feel happiness, we feel unhappy inside. Happiness can fulfill material needs. Material needs fulfill facilities cannot fulfill non-material needs. Goal of all human beings is happiness. This is something to be very correct. Decision making flows after this clarity. Without understanding that human being is body plus self, correct. I express my gratitude to Shri A. Nagra, who is the propounder of Yes Darshan Sahasritvad or coexistential philosophy, as we call in English. On the basis of this presentation has been made, and a lot of courses are running in the country. Question answers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. So, sir, coming to the question and answers, so we have received a lot of questions for you, sir, and I'll just suggest all the participants, they can even send their question answers right now also in the chat box or in the Q&A section. So, sir, I would like to just read the questions for you. So there is a question. Most of the times, due to various responsibilities, we don't get enough time for our spiritual needs. How can we make a balance between the physical and spiritual needs?
Yeah, excellent question. The phase in which we are now, we call I mean, I call it myself. You can decide what you call. We are in the phase of adult education now. People who could not study in their proper in their childhood, then they go to the adult education programs. So I think the best thing would be that this content is taught in schools and colleges. Now, unfortunately, when we were in schools and colleges, this was not taught to us. So we are in the adult education program. Adult education programs are always difficult. You have your daily responsibilities, official responsibilities. You have to fulfill them. You have your family responsibilities. You have to fulfill them also. And I think that if these spiritual needs, the fulfillment, the clarity about self, it becomes a dominant need, one will take out time. Okay, so it is just prioritizing. If it comes in priority, time will be created. If it does not come in priority, other things, they will take time. So we have to see, if it is not coming in priority, there is only one conclusion. We have not thought it more important. I mean, there are other things which are more important. We are devoting time to that. That's as simple as it is.
Yes, thank you, sir. So the other next question is, does helping others come under happiness of oneself?
That's very interesting. See, there is a traditional way of looking which says that you help others and then you get happiness. But as we are seeing, as we have said in our repeatedly in our presentation, human being is combination of body and self. Okay, it is a big mistake to consider ourselves primarily as body. We are primarily self. Body is our resource. So when we help others, this has to be seen what are we thinking as help. I mean, I quote, what is help? And so if the help is giving them clothes, giving them food, giving them jobs, giving them money, then we are looking at others also as body and we are trying to fulfill their physical needs. So we think ourselves as body, we try to fulfill our physical needs. We think we look at others also as body, so we look at fulfilling their physical needs. This is the minimum that needs to be done. But then the wisdom part is beyond this. Okay? So helping others is two parts. One is this physical part, and the other is wisdom part. So I think that the total journey has to be clear in our minds. Whomsoever, whatever we are doing, somewhere it should lead. If it does not lead to the wisdom, it will not lead to transformation. Person who is jobless today, the person who is uneducated today, uh, we will give them education, we will give them money, we will give them job, and then he will reach some position, and then he will start making mistakes, and he will start exploiting people. Okay, so what started as help for somebody can actually result in a social disharmony. So we have to enable people, but then enable them with wisdom also. Without that, the enablement can be very dense. Okay, it will be incomplete. It will lead to their unfulfillment the way it has led to our own unfulfillment. That's the way I look at it.
Thank you, sir. So the next question says, when we talk to people with less positivity, even our positivity starts diminishing. So how to maintain or rather not disturb our positivity in such case?
See, if there are people who are less positivity and they are having more impact on us, then our own positivity is also questionable. Okay, like it's as simple as that. I talked about assumptions. So many times we over evaluate ourselves. We have high assumptions of ourselves. Like I mean, in these things, let me be very honest. I am very blunt and very straightforward. Self over evaluation is a very common mistake. So I think that the right parameter to judge is if there is a person with a, with less wisdom and a person with the higher wisdom, the wiser person will prevail. If the wiser person is unable to prevail and he's engaging and then in the end he's himself shaky, then his own wisdom is sort of to be evaluated again. So we all have to go through our own self-evaluation process. If we are not successful, if we are not successful in what we are trying to do, that means our ability to accomplish what we want to accomplish is less. It means I have to work on myself. It's as simple as that. The other will work on himself or herself when he or she wants to do it. But I can work on myself whenever I want to. That is the starting point. Yes, Jasdeep.
In one talks, we were discussing on this, and it was said, if you are someone is demotivating you, and you are feeling a bit low, it is important that you change your group. Your peer group is actually not supporting you to grow that way. So it is one and the thing, if one is feeling a bit low with others.
Jasdeep ji, there's a practical angle to this also. I mean, I think you are talking about an institutional environment, but many times in families also these kind of things will happen. No, you cannot change your husband, or you cannot change your son, or you cannot change your brothers or sister because they are giving negativity. And many times, believe me, again I am being very straightforward and very blunt, there are people in families also who are spreading negativity. And the only option we have is to upgrade ourselves. If we upgrade ourselves, only then we will not be affected by them, and we will be able to help them in overcoming their own negativity also. Anything less than that will not be acceptable to us, will not give us fulfillment. As they say, when you go in the aeroplane, as they say, in case of, when the oxygen pressure reduces, first put the mask on your own face. Okay, help others after putting the mask on your own face. Okay, so the first question which we are asking, uh, we have to upgrade ourselves, then we will be able to help others. I mean, right now what happens is we ourselves do not have ability, but there's an enthusiasm, there's a feeling I want to help others. So without having the ability I want to help others, it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't lead to fulfillment also, but neither on the other side nor in myself.
So throughout the life, women always have to keep on doing that, silently, so that's
Uh,
women university, and we have meetings and with other people, and so where, so every time, this is something that you're saying, okay, silently we have to keep on upgrading ourselves, and I think after a while maybe that will be visible. So finally,
I talk to a lot of men. I talk to a lot of men also, and believe me, they also have their own torment stories. Okay, so इस शहर में हर शख्स परेशान सा क्यों है? This is where this is where we are, and I think everybody needs this transformation.
yes.
And what better place to start than oneself?
Yes. It is very important to unlearn and learn. That is a continuous process. If that keeps on going, the acceptability will increase. That is very important, to unlearn and keep on learning with the changing times. That is
The content which we, once you learn, you will never need to unlearn it. Okay. Uh, this wisdom part, the transformation part, the right living part, the ethics part, this is a non-changing thing. Okay, this is like universal. So we will never need to unlearn it. This is what I said in the presentation also. We are so much focused on the ever-changing world around us that there was a big part of the world which was unchanging, ever-present, non-changing. We almost forgot about it in our living, in our education also.
yes. Yes, Neha, we take up more questions. Otherwise, the interaction can keep on
Yes.
going.
Yes,
Sure,
please,
sure.
please.
Sir, we are getting the responses also parallelly that you have explained their questions very nicely. And again, there is a similar question that what if negative people are there in our family itself, then what to do? I think this is one and the same question that was already.
See, yeah, we already talked about it, yes.
So I think, sir, we do not have more questions of the other categories I can see. So, sir, I would like to just take the opportunity to thank you to just deliver us such a wonderful talk, and you have just taken up all the queries also very nicely, and all the participants are actually very interactive, and they are just telling that the answers have been clearly handled by the speaker. So now I would like to just hand over to our coordinators, as our coordinators are also present here today, to just give a vote of thanks to all the speakers who had just given such deep knowledge in the last 1 week. I hope all the participants have gained a lot. So I would just hand over to the coordinators, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you. I enjoyed interacting with all of you. Thank you.
It has been very nice to listen to you, and many answers of everybody they get resolved, and it is an opportunity to learn that one should move from the materialistic world to the the inner soul, the happiness, and how to reach that state of happiness. So it's good to hear to you, sir. Ma'am, you are not audible. Neha, am I audible?
No, Jasdeep ji, आवाज नहीं आ रही जसदेव जी.
Yes, Nidhi you are audible, but I think there is some disturbance. I don't know from where.
My end, I believe there is a problem with Jasdeep ma'am's.
So, ma'am, I think rest of us can mute and the means.
Sanjeev, can you please mute your speaker? Neha, I think the
yes,
four
ma'am, now
mics were
everything is
on.
better. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
3-4 mics were on. I think that was the problem. No, okay, now I'll take this opportunity to thank all the persons who were involved in the this conduction of this event, and the process starts from thanking our honorable vice chancellor, who has been throughout and provided a lot of encouragement right from submitting, making the proposal to the submission and everything. This would not have been possible without her encouragement and support. I would like to thank AICT, All India Council for Technical Education, for providing an opportunity or a platform wherein all the participants across India could connect and listen to all these talks, wherein I believe each and every participant will get benefit by one or the other talk. And I must also share that there are almost 200 participants for this event. And since the coordinating institute for this event is Delhi, Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women, but there are only maybe 20 or 25 odd participants from Delhi. We have maximum participation from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Hyderabad, Chennai, Goa, Mizoram. Matlab, all over India, we have got the participation. So that is the best part. Due to this, maybe the AICT that turned a crisis into an opportunity. Not only the local participants, but the people across the nation, they are connecting and they're listening to the speakers, which otherwise would not have been possible. Maybe if we ask Sanjeev sir, please come to go and give 1 hour lecture. So sir will also think whether I should go or I should not go. But at the click of a mouse, it becomes very easy for the experts as well as for the listeners. So thank you all. Thank you AICT for doing this. And I also like to thank all my experts, starting from the first lecture was from Miss Seema Dholi. Then we had Mr. Ras Bansal is there, Miss Agrima Bhasin, Dr. Sudeep Devnath, Dr. Aradhana Sharma, Dr. Abhay Wanke, and Sanjeev sir is here, Sahaj Yog, everybody who is involved. Maybe I may be missing out some names, but we involved almost 12 speakers for 14 lectures. And apart from the Sahaj Yog, we had 4 sessions from Sahaj Yog. So there were 4 different speakers for Sahaj Yog. Dr. Munshi Yadav supported a lot during the event. Dr. Savita Vyas was there for the art of living. So I thank all the experts for taking out their time from the busy schedule and maybe, coordinating on the day one on Monday, because one day we had a little technical glitch and we had to cancel one lecture. So 7:30, all the experts were tuning in to check the system, the audio and the presentation system. So this is for the participants that all the experts, they not only took time off their busy schedules for this lecture only, they took time before the event also for tuning in, checking their systems, and maybe I think last 15 days we have been communicating with them regarding the lectures and various forms that needs to be fulfilled. So I thank all the experts for making the session so interactive and engaging. And I thank all the participants also, because you are the ones who have been tuning in for the last 5 days, and that too in a very, very interactive manner, very in a present state of mind, because the feedback that we have received from the speakers is that your audience is very good. Your audience is very good. Question and answer, they are so much so that it takes a lot of time. And I believe for a teacher, since all of us who are sitting over here, I believe 80% of them, they are teachers. Apart from 10 or 20% who are PG or PhD scholars, 80 to 90% they are teachers. And we know that we love our class the most when the students are interacting with us. They are asking questions from us. So it's always a win-win situations. And as teachers, maybe I am sorry to say, sir, but whatever the age may be of the experts or myself, we learn in a lifelong manner. At the time of taking class also, I think a teacher learns a lot from their students. So it's a win-win situation. The participants are also learning from the experts, and I believe experts must have also learned a little bit. I don't know how much, but they might have learned. So thank you, participants, for making the session so interactive and so engaging for the experts as well. And maybe last but not the least, I would like to thank my organizing committee, the complete organizing committee that starts from the co-coordinator, Dr. Jasdeep Kaur Dhanoa, Ms. Neha Kapoor, Ms. Ritu Kandari. You have been interacting with all these three people apart from me in the last 5 days, but they have been on this job since last 15-20 days from the day we got the approval for the proposal. And all the jobs, and there's one Mr. Ishwar also who is not in the forefront, but all of us know that there is always a back-end team also who works at the back end. So he is not here on screen, but yes, he is also working a lot. And what task these people they have not done, sending mails to the experts. Sanjeev sir, you must have got, I think, 4 or 5 mails in the last 15 days. Participants must have received their, confirmation, their WhatsApp group, their Gmail Google group. Test will be conducted by Ritu Kandari, and so many things. And hats off to the organizing team, Ritu, Jasdeep ma'am, that we are getting, reply questions from the participants till late night also. And we are completing the session at 6. But still the WhatsApp group is active. So we are active over there as well. And my organizing team, they are doing their best to be on the job 24/7. You must be receiving links for the lecture late at night, early morning. So we are on the job, and this would not have been possible without such a dedicated and a sincere team. I thank my organizing team from the core of my heart. Thank you all. Thank you all for making this event a success.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nidhi ma'am. I would also ask Dr. Jasdeep to just share a few words.
About everything, thanking the participants, the experts, the organizing team. Yes, the successful of an event, of course, depends upon the team leader also. We acknowledge all that. The hardships that she had been going through, she was so busy in the inaugural function of this FDP. So yes, hats off to you also, managing the whole thing over there. Thank you, Sanjeev sir. We kept your talk for the last, you were a bit worried how many participants would be there. But of course, being the last day, we find many participants active. And you were like, the participants their morale would have been down. They must be so exhausted by the end of the week. Enjoyed. Thank you, University. Thank you, everyone. That's all. I'll just make it very brief. Thank you, everyone.
I think we can request if some of the participants, they need to give any kind of feedback or, share something on the portal, you can please raise your hands and we can unmute you. In case there is a feedback, otherwise there is a formality of giving feedback on paper also. Many of them have already done before the completion of the event on the AICT portal. Those who have not done it, kindly do that, because the certificates won't be released, or you can say that the certificate process will not start till the time your feedback reaches the AICT portal. This is from your end. From our end, we have to put up the test marks as well as your attendance for the entire week, which we'll be doing in the next 1 week. And for the test, you will receive a link at 3:30 on your WhatsApp group, and the link will be active for 1 hour. So that means you can attempt that test within the 1 hour. So if you miss that part, maybe it is missed. The entire 5 days are missed. I'm so sorry for that. You have to be attentive for the link and the test. So in case anybody wants to share anything, you can just write in the chat or maybe raise your hands. We'll unmute you. Neha, can you please check if anybody has raised their hand?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, hello, ma'am. Yeah, good evening. This is Dr. Ramya. I'm from Hyderabad. So this is my first FDP from the Atal. So I'm feeling very happy because I attended these many sessions, and I improved myself because I joined in engineering college. I have only 1 year experience, but I used to fear a lot to talk in front of the others or on the stage, even while teaching the students also. But after learning all these things, something I learned from this, I motivated from here many sessions, and those are very effective and valuable sessions for all, I think. So thank you for organizers for conducting such a beautiful session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramya ma'am. Good to hear to you. And since you said that you are afraid of speaking in front of people, you have come out of the present 146 candidates to share the feedback. That in itself says that you learned during these 5 days. That makes a FDP successful. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I guess the next one is Kavita Segal. I'm just unmuting her. Ma'am, you can speak.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, first of all, good evening to everyone. And I would like to thank all the organizers first and AICT Atal Academy for taking this initiative, because in these busy schedules, we don't have time, we don't get even time to realize self. Through this FDP, we have got the time to realize self. And we got various opportunity through various speakers who were expert in their field, in their talk. They motivated us in various fields, like Dr. Aradhana ma'am. She was child psychologist. She attended various issues from the parents. And then Sahaj Yoga, then Dr. Vikas Bansal, Dr. Sanjeev. So there are various expert speakers who are excellent in motivating us for realizing self. So I hope in future also we can manage to realize ourselves through during these busy schedules of our responsibilities as well. I thank all the organizers again for these beautiful initiatives.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
your feedback. Yes, Dr. B. Yogeshwari. I have unmuted you.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. I'm Yogeshwari from Sri Ishwar College of Engineering, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. On behalf of all the participants, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, on behalf of all the participants, I'm very happy to convey our heartfelt thanks to IGTT UW for having conducted this FDP through Atal AICTE. All the resource persons have done a great job and enlightened us with their expertise. As we teachers, we know the difficulty in organizing a 5-day program, that too online. So we thank all the organizers, Nidhi ma'am, Neha ma'am, Jasdeep ma'am, especially Ritu ma'am, who have handled all the sessions and queries very carefully and made the participants to feel comfortable through the frequent updates in the WhatsApp group. That too with a smiling face always. So that's a great thing, ma'am. I hope all the participants will agree with me. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Overall, it's a great show. We enjoyed a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you're audible.
Good evening, one and all, ma'am. This is Parvata Vardhane from Malapachettiya Government College of Engineering and Karaikudi, Tamil Nadu. I was really floored by the kind of dedication and the sincerity that all of you were putting in to make this FDP a great success, especially even in the evening. And it was a very good teamwork that I really appreciated. Thank you all, ma'am, for having given us this chance to look at all these things. And the resource persons were really great. I was really surprised and excited with the kind of content that they were pouring in. It was really nice. And one thing that really touched me was the way you were very responsive. All of you were very responsive. Whether we put a comment in WhatsApp or here in the chat box, you were very responsive about our needs. Thank you very much for the hospitality that you've shown. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for acknowledging the hospitality and the responsiveness. All the credit goes to my team, ma'am. In my vote of thanks also, I think the most of the time I have given to my organizing team with the sincerity and the dedication these people have worked. The FDP has to be successful, ma'am. Has to be successful. They put in so much of effort into this.
It is a success, ma'am. I think everybody will accept that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to mention here, some of the participants also in the WhatsApp group have been.
Jasdeep ma'am, there is a problem with your signal, ma'am.
No, I'm sorry. No, there was a call coming, and I'm actually
okay.
Mobile, so I disconnected the call because parallelly the other things were going on. So I just wanted to convey that among the participants also, we have very silent coordinators who had been helping us out, and certain messages, that some of the participants missed earlier, they were resending it, so that everything was visible. So I even thank those silent participants who had been helping us out a lot. Thank you so much.
Lakshmi ma'am, I have unmuted you. You can please share your feedback. I've also unmuted another participant, Mathu. You can also share your feedback.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all. I am Madhumati from Anna University, Tamil Nadu. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for organizing this wonderful program for the past 5 days. You have shown us the right road, ma'am. You are stuck onto the title, so which we will tread carefully for the betterment of the society and for the student community in the days to come. All the sessions were enlightening, so it was very fruitful. So it was 5 days. Just can't imagine how the 5 days went off. So we are taking a lot of memories also, and all the sessions were enriching. So, and I would like to thank the organizing committee once again for all your responses, for your prompt responses. As soon as we put some message, you responded immediately. So once again, I would like to thank the organizing committee and Atal Academy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think we can just, I think Dr. Jasdeep has some message to give.
No, I was just we have to start with the around 3:30. So I think we can end up with Dr. Dr. Nidhi, can then for the test and the participants can.
Just a minute. There seems to be some problem with your network, ma'am. Hanji, can you repeat this, ma'am?
I was just saying that the participants take the test after a while. So we just end the session now.
Yeah. Yes, we can end the session now. I'll just make the announcement once again. There have been many thank you notes in the WhatsApp group and over here as well. So thank you all for appreciating and acknowledging our efforts and making it a point that this contributed or there is a takeaway from this FDP. Thank you all for making this successful. Now I have three announcements to be done. First of all, there are certain participants whose status is, I believe, during the lunch hour, I have made all the applied participants as the approved ones. Still, if somebody is facing any problem in their putting up their feedback in the AICT portal, you can just send a WhatsApp on the WhatsApp group writing your name and email ID from which you submitted the Atal form. So I'll approve them in case there is some problem in the portal. That is one thing. Secondly, please submit your feedbacks today itself and attempt the test. The link for the same will be shared at 3:30 and it will be active for 1 hour. I have been receiving few messages wherein they are saying that we'll be going back home or we have a meeting from 3 to 4. So kindly extend the time. I believe even if there is a meeting from 3 to 4, you still have half an hour to go for the test. And it's not something that you won't be able to attempt in half an hour. The attempting the test will take only 10 minutes, hardly. So I don't think there should be any problem. Still, in case somebody feels a problem, send us a WhatsApp or an email, we'll respond to it. And please be patient for your certificates and all, because before you get your certificates, there are several formalities at the institute end and several formalities at the AICT end. Both these formalities will complete, then only certificates will be generated in 1 or 2 days time. So it may take 1 week to 10 days. So kindly be patient from whatever information we'll receive regarding the certificate. We will put up on the WhatsApp group, and once you receive your certificates, then only we are going to, dilute this WhatsApp group. So don't worry about that. We'll be there till the time you receive your certificates. I again thank you all for an active participation during this 5-week FTP. Thank you all. I think we can leave the event now.
Yes, you can leave from here. I'm ending the session.